Hello and welcome to this episode of the Higher Ed Jobs and Wellbeing podcast, where we celebrate academia and bring education to everyone. Today, we're diving deep into a topic that's crucial in every corner of the academic world, and that's leadership.
It's fascinating how leadership, particularly in higher education, isn't about fitting into a single mold. We're using Jared Canice's article, What Does Leadership Mean? Benefits and Steps to Improve, to guide our exploration today.
It really does feel like we've all encountered a whole spectrum of leadership styles in our academic journeys. Some inspiring, some,
Well,
let's just say we learned what not to do.
precisely. And this article kicks off by reminding us that at its core, leadership is about guiding and motivating people toward a common goal. But in academia, that motivating part takes on a special dimension.
Okay, I'm intrigued. What makes it different in academia?
Think about it. In a university setting, you're dealing with people driven by a deep passion for knowledge. Whether it's a research team on the verge of a breakthrough or a classroom full of students eager to learn, that inherent intellectual curiosity is a powerful force, a leader who can tap into that, who can make the pursuit of knowledge emotionally compelling. That's when truly exceptional things happen.
That makes so much sense. It's not just about assigning tasks. It's about igniting a shared passion for discovery. So how does this article break down the different styles of leadership?
It highlights four main styles: democratic, coaching, autocratic, and transactional. Each has its strengths and potential pitfalls, especially in the context of higher education.
Let's start with democratic leadership. The article describes it as inclusive, but how does that play out in a university setting where everyone's an expert?
Imagine a faculty senate meeting where a crucial decision needs to be made. Let's say on a new curriculum. A democratic leader wouldn't just dictate the change, they'd facilitate a discussion, ensuring all voices are heard, even if it means the meeting runs a bit longer.
I can see how that could be both powerful and challenging. Powerful because you're harnessing the collective wisdom of the faculty, but challenging because, well, academics are known for their, shall we say, spirited debates.
Exactly. The skill lies in guiding that discussion toward a consensus, preventing it from turning into analysis paralysis. Now, contrast that with the coaching style.
Okay, so if democratic leadership is about group decisions, what's the essence of coaching? Is it like that one amazing professor we all had who always had time for us?
That's a great example. Think about a senior professor mentoring a junior faculty member. It's not about giving orders. It's about nurturing potential, identifying strengths, guiding them through the grant writing process, helping them navigate the often unwritten rule of academia.
It's like an apprenticeship,
Yeah.
but for the academic world. Now,
Yeah.
the next style, autocratic, might be a bit more controversial, shall we say.
It can be. While democratic leadership thrives on discussion, autocratic leadership is about swift, decisive action. Imagine a department chair facing a budget crisis. They might need to make difficult choices quickly without time for lengthy consultations.
That makes sense in a crisis. But I imagine in the long run, consistently using that style could lead to resentment. People might feel unheard or like their expertise isn't valued.
That's the trade-off, efficiency and decisiveness. But at the risk of alienating people, finally, we have the transactional style.
All right, break this one down for me. What makes it unique?
Transactional leadership is all about setting clear goals and expectations. It's very common in research settings. Think of a lab where hitting a specific research milestone triggers a bonus or extra research time.
So it's a system of rewards and consequences. Very results-oriented. I can see how that could be motivating, especially for early career researchers eager to establish themselves. But is there a downside?
Of course. Relying solely on external rewards can sometimes stifle creativity and intrinsic motivation. People might focus on hitting those milestones rather than exploring new avenues or taking intellectual risks. It's about finding the right balance.
So we've got our four leadership styles.
Yeah.
But the article also talks about qualities that are important regardless of your style.
Right. Absolutely. And some of them are particularly relevant in academia.
Let's unpack those. What stood out to you?
Well, clarity of purpose is paramount. Whether you're leading a research team or designing a syllabus, if you can't articulate your vision clearly and passionately, how can you expect others to get on board?
Especially in academia, where people are driven by ideas.
Yeah.
It's not enough to just assign tasks. You need to inspire a shared sense of purpose. What else is crucial?
Continuous development. In the academic world,
Right.
we're surrounded by the pursuit of knowledge. A good leader embodies that. They're constantly learning, attending conferences, engaging with new research. That sets a powerful example for everyone around them.
It's like leading by example, showing that the quest for knowledge never ends. And that brings us to delegation,
Right.
which, if we're being honest, can be tough for academics. We like to be in control.
Right. It's true. But in a university setting, where everyone is juggling research, teaching, and administrative tasks, delegation becomes essential. The article emphasizes that delegating effectively isn't just about dumping tasks on others, it's about empowering them.
So, for example,
Mhm.
instead of micromanaging every detail of a research project, a good leader might provide clear guidelines, offer support, and trust their team to take ownership of their work.
Exactly. It's about fostering a collaborative environment where everyone can contribute their expertise and grow. And speaking of collaboration, the article also highlights the importance of active listening.
This feels particularly important in academia, where everyone's an expert and eager to share their opinions. But how do you actually practice active listening? It's a
Especially,
heated debate.
it's a skill that takes conscious effort. It's about truly hearing what others are saying, not just waiting for your turn to speak. It's about asking clarifying questions, acknowledging different perspectives, and creating a space where everyone feels heard and respected.
Those are some powerful insights. We've covered a lot of ground here, from the core definition of leadership to different styles and essential qualities. But I'm curious, how do these ideas play out in the unique challenges and opportunities of higher education?
That's precisely where we're headed next. We'll explore how these leadership skills translate into real-world academic scenarios, from motivating research teams to navigating the complexities of university administration.
Stay tuned, listeners. We'll be back after a short break to delve even deeper into the world of academic leadership. Welcome back to the Higher Ed Jobs and Wellbeing Podcast. We've laid the groundwork, exploring different leadership styles and qualities. Now, let's see how those concepts actually come alive in the unique ecosystem of higher education. It's funny, when we think about leadership, we often picture CEOs or politicians. But in academia, leadership takes on a whole different dimension. It's about guiding minds, not just managing tasks.
Precisely. And one of the most vibrant areas where academic leadership shines is research. Imagine you're leading a team of brilliant researchers, each with their own expertise, passions, and let's be honest, strong opinions.
Oh, absolutely. It's like that saying where there are academics, there are opinions, but amplified tenfold when
That's
you're
right.
talking about cutting-edge research.
Exactly, and that's where leadership becomes crucial. It's about fostering a culture of collaboration, where those differing opinions are seen as assets, not obstacles.
I'm picturing those intense lab meetings where everyone's buzzing with ideas,
Yeah.
sometimes agreeing, sometimes clashing. What kind of leadership helps navigate that dynamic?
Well, think back to the styles we discussed earlier. In the initial brainstorming phases of a research project, a democratic approach can be incredibly effective. A leader who facilitates open discussions, encourages diverse perspectives, and ensures everyone feels heard can unlock some truly innovative thinking.
That makes sense. You're tapping into the collective intelligence of the team. But I imagine there are also times when a more directive approach is needed.
Absolutely. Let's say the research team encounters an unexpected setback or a crucial deadline is looming. In those situations, a leader might need to step in and make a swift decision, perhaps leaning on their autocratic style.
So it's about knowing when to guide and when to direct, finding that delicate balance between collaboration and decisiveness. But no matter the style, effective leadership in research is also about nurturing those individual passions you mentioned earlier.
Couldn't agree more. A good research leader understands that their role is not just about managing a project. It's about mentoring minds. It's about recognizing each team member's unique strengths and providing the support and guidance they need to thrive.
It's like that professor who not only imparted knowledge, but also inspired a love of learning. Speaking of which, let's shift gears from the lab to the classroom. How does leadership manifest in the world of teaching?
Well, for starters, think about clarity of purpose. A professor leading a classroom isn't just delivering information. They're curating an intellectual experience.
It's about crafting a syllabus that not only covers the material but also sparks curiosity, designing lectures that engage students, and creating an environment where questions are encouraged, not just answers memorized.
Precisely. And just like in a research setting, active listening plays a crucial role in the classroom. It's about recognizing that students bring their own experiences and perspectives to the learning process.
It's so easy to fall into the trap of thinking, I'm the expert here to impart my knowledge. But good teaching is a dialogue, not a
Yeah,
monologue.
Exactly. A professor who truly listens to their students, who understands their challenges and aspirations, can tailor their teaching in a way that fosters deeper understanding and even inspires a love of the subject.
It's about creating those aha moments that make learning truly transformative. Now,
Hmm.
we've talked about research and teaching, but there's another layer of leadership in academia that often gets overlooked, the administrative side.
Ah, yes. The unsung heroes who keep the university running smoothly, the department chairs, the deans, the provosts, all navigating the complex machinery of higher education.
It's a world of budgets, committees, strategic plans, and sometimes, let's be real, a bit of academic politics.
Mm.
What kind of leadership thrives in that environment?
It's a unique blend of skills. Strong administrative leaders need that clarity of purpose we discussed earlier. But on an institutional level, they need to be able to articulate a vision for their department or university, a vision that inspires buy-in from faculty, staff, and students.
And I imagine communication skills become even more crucial in that role. You're dealing with a diverse range of stakeholders, each with their own priorities and concerns.
Absolutely. And it's not just about broadcasting decisions. It's about active listening, understanding those different perspectives, and building consensus.
It sounds like diplomacy is a key ingredient in the administrative leader's toolkit. Navigating those sometimes choppy waters of university politics requires finesse and a knack for finding common ground.
It does. And effective administrative leaders also need to be adept at problem solving. They're constantly facing challenges, whether it's shrinking budgets, changing student demographics, or the ever-evolving landscape of higher education itself.
So they need to be adaptable, able to think strategically, and perhaps even have a bit of that visionary spirit to guide their institution toward a brighter future.
Precisely. It's about leading with both a clear-eyed view of the present and an inspiring vision for what's possible.
We've covered a lot of ground in this part, exploring how leadership manifests in research, teaching, and administration. It's clear that effective leadership in academia takes many forms, but those core qualities we discussed earlier, like clarity of purpose, continuous development, and active listening, are threads that weave through all of them.
Absolutely. And as we move into our final part, we'll explore how you, our listeners, can cultivate these leadership skills and make a difference in your own academic journeys.
Welcome back to the Higher Ed Jobs and Wellbeing podcast for the final part of our deep dive into leadership in higher education.
We've explored the landscape, the styles, the qualities. Now let's empower you with tools to cultivate your own leadership potential.
Because let's be real, sometimes those theoretical discussions of leadership can feel a bit abstract. We nod along, think, yeah, that sounds good. But then it's back to the overflowing inbox and the stack of grading.
It's true, but the beauty is leadership isn't some innate trait you either have or you don't. It's a set of skills, a way of thinking that you can develop.
Okay, I like where this is going. So if someone listening is thinking, all right, I'm ready to level up my leadership game, where do they even start? Does this article offer any practical advice?
It does, and it starts with a familiar concept in academia: mentorship.
Mentorship, we hear about it all the time. But finding a truly great mentor feels like striking gold. Any tips on how to go about it?
Think about the people in your academic sphere who inspire you. Not just those with impressive titles, but those who embody the qualities we've been discussing. Someone who communicates clearly, listens generously, and champions others' growth.
So it could be a professor who always made time for students, a department chair known for their collaborative approach, even a fellow grad student who's incredibly organized and supportive.
Exactly. And don't be afraid to reach out. Most people in academia are passionate about mentorship. Express your admiration for their work, explain what you're hoping to learn, and see if they'd be open to occasional conversations.
And a good mentor won't just give you the answers right. They'll challenge you to think critically, to reflect on your own experiences, to develop your own unique leadership style.
Precisely. Mentorship is a two-way street. It's about learning from someone else's journey, but also charting your own path. Now, beyond mentorship, the article also stresses the value of research.
Wait, research into leadership itself, like reading books on management styles, attending workshops on conflict resolution.
Exactly. It might sound obvious, but sometimes we get so caught up in the content of our academic fields that we forget to study the process of leadership itself.
That's a good point. And the beauty is there are tons of resources out there tailored specifically to the academic world. Books by experienced professors, articles on navigating university politics, even podcasts like this one.
And as you delve into those resources, think critically. What resonates with you? What feels authentic to your personality and goals? Leadership isn't about copying someone else. It's about finding your own voice.
Okay, so we've got mentorship research. What else can we do to sharpen those leadership skills? Is it time for one of those ropes courses where we fall backwards and hope someone catches us?
Well, maybe not that extreme.
Hmm.
But the article does mention the value of training courses, and many universities offer workshops specifically for faculty and staff.
So we could learn about things like effective communication, giving constructive feedback, or managing conflict in a way that doesn't devolve into an academic brawl.
Exactly. These courses provide a safe space to practice those skills, get feedback from experienced facilitators,
Hmm.
and even learn from the experiences of colleagues facing similar challenges.
It's like a leadership lab, where we can experiment without the fear of real-world consequences. Now, there's one final piece of the puzzle that the article highlights, and it's one that can sometimes make academics squirm.
Ah, I think I know where you're going with this. Feedback.
Yep, the dreaded F word. We're good at giving it to students, but receiving it ourselves, that can feel a bit vulnerable.
It's true. But think about it this way. How can we grow as leaders if we don't know what we're doing well and where we can improve?
And it's not just about getting feedback from our superiors. It's about seeking it from our peers, our mentees, even our students.
Absolutely. Creating a culture of open communication where feedback is seen as a gift, not a threat, is a hallmark of strong leadership. And remember, giving feedback effectively is also a leadership skill. It's about being specific, constructive, and focusing on growth.
All right, so we've got a roadmap: mentorship, research, training, and feedback. But ultimately, it sounds like leadership development is an ongoing journey.
It is. And the exciting thing is, as you invest in those skills, you're not just benefiting yourself, you're creating a ripple effect that can transform your department, your institution, even the broader academic community.
Because when people feel inspired, supported, and empowered, they do their best work. They innovate, they collaborate, they make a difference. And that's the heart of what leadership in higher education is all about.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, remember, you don't need a fancy title to be a leader. Whether you're a grad student, a postdoc, a junior faculty member, or a seasoned professor, your leadership journey starts now.
And if you're looking to put those skills into action in a new role, or simply explore the vast landscape of higher education careers, make sure to check out academicjobs.com.
It's a treasure trove of opportunities, from research positions to teaching roles to administrative leadership. You never know what exciting paths await.
That's it for this episode of the Higher Ed Jobs and Wellbeing Podcast. We hope you found this deep dive into leadership insightful and inspiring.
Go out there and lead with clarity, purpose, and a passion for the transformative power of education.
We'll see you next time for another deep dive into the world of academia.